Three, two, one, action. Welcome back to episode 29 of As Seen on Screen. I'm Nicole.
And I'm Gracie, and we're your source for all things entertainment news, reviews, interviews, and more.
You can find us wherever you get your podcasts on Spotify or YouTube. Well, welcome back to another episode. This is a busy week. This is the second time we're coming to you this week. We're back with our regular episodes after our Taylor Swift special on Monday. So we have a ton of news to go down here. We were putting the list together this morning and it just kept going. So we're going to start with some more newsy news, starting with John Krasinski was named People's 2024 Sexiest Man Alive. Gracie, immediate thoughts.
I'm pretty sure I DM'd you as soon as I saw this, and I was like, girl, what? Um, yeah, I mean, don't get me wrong, he's a good-looking man. He is a good-looking man. But is he the sexiest man alive? Definitely not. Um, I'm sorry to Mr. John Krasinski, but it's true. I was talking to a few of my friends about this, and it seems like they have a theme going on where they pick someone who was like a heartthrob on like a sitcom or a hit TV show years ago, and
Yeah.
they're like, "Oh, let's go for the ladies who are now a bit older. Let's bring it back to those days."
Yeah.
And then they just pick a random man. And you know what? It works. It definitely gets people talking because Twitter has been ablaze with this
They
announcement.
have been
And
up in
originally, it was rumored that the man was going to be Benny Blanco, and that had TikTok going crazy.
TikTok was angry.
TikTok was like, listen, people, we can only go so far with this. So John Krasinski was definitely a nicer pick, but yeah, I don't know. I've been underwhelmed the past few years, so I kind of just take it as a joke now. No offense, people.
I totally agree with what you're saying about like the trend of taking used to be a heartthrob, like usually now it's not usually like a young-ish actor. But I don't know. I thought it was an interesting like okay, John Krasinski is an attractive man. I won't deny that. He's totally attractive. But I found it random almost because like okay, John Krasinski did If this year back in May, the animated movie that he directed. Well, semi-animated. But like, what else has he done this year? It was just like, I wouldn't have guessed that because John Krasinski hasn't been super relevant in news this year for entertainment. Like, he hasn't been in a lot of films this year. So I thought that was kind of out of the blue pick. But I do agree that there were definitely like, I know so many people online rooting for like Glenn Powell, Paul Mescal, a number of other people that were maybe more seen this year, have more relevancy to the news currently. But I mean, John Krasinski,
Yeah, well, apparently, for many years now, it's been offered to Pedro Pascal, and he continuously turns it down because he just feels like it's kind of. But apparently, this year it was offered to Glenn Powell, who also turned it down because he said he wanted to focus more on his career rather than his looks. Um, I mean, we're sitting here fantasizing about the white shirt and Twister, but pop off, sir. Yeah, there definitely were other choices. Whether or not they turn them down, we'll never know, or
yeah,
we'll know in a few years.
Glenn Powell girlies might just have to hold on for a few more decades until maybe he decides that it's okay
We
to
gotta wait until his moment has passed and he's seen as like a heartthrob for older women now. Then they'll get him.
stop. That's so weird to think about.
Give it like many years and we'll be like, the younger generation will be like, who is this guy?
Well, moving on to some exciting news. Somehow we forgot to talk about this last week because these did come out 2 weeks ago, almost now. The Grammy nominations for 2025 have been released. The Grammys are Sunday, February 2nd, 2025. So let's quickly give a little overview of some of the bigger fields. Starting off, Record of the Year nominations are for Now and Then by the Beatles, Texas Hold'em, Beyonce, Espresso, Sabrina Carpenter, 360, Charlie XCX, Birds of a Feather, Billie Eilish, Not Like Us, Kendrick Lamar, Good Luck Babe, Chappell Roan, and Fortnite, Taylor Swift featuring Post Malone.
I
I
don't understand how the Beatles are on here.
my first thought when I pulled this up, I was like, did I pull up the wrong website? Because
Literally, I was sitting with my parents and the Grammys had posted videos of their nominations and it said the Beatles. And I was like, wait a minute. And my dad was like, oh no, they released an AI song. I'm like, oh, here we go. Here's where the AI songs start to take over. Like, don't get me wrong, I love the Beatles, but girl, what?
well, and it's so funny reading it on a list like this. Like you have Beyonce, Sabrina, Charlie, Billy, Kendrick, Chappell, Post Malone, Taylor Swift, and the Beatles.
I know. That's why I was like, how are they gonna accept that award if they won? Like,
I don't know. I feel like I don't know. I don't even know who to guess this year for most of the Grammys. Like I almost feel like Sabrina could have it. I feel like Espresso could definitely be a front runner for that one. Birds of a Feather, Billie Eilish, also very,
honestly,
very
at this
popular.
point, I'm just loving all the girl power that we're
Ah,
seeing pop off girlies. But yeah, Beyonce is also like made the record of being nominated for 99 Grammys, and that is crazy to me.
she's also an Album of the Year category for Cowboy Carter, along with New Blue Sun, Andre 3000, Short and Sweet, Sabrina Carpenter, Brat, Charlie XCX, Jesse Volume 4, Jay Collier, Hit Me Hard and Soft, Billie Eilish, and The Rise and Fall of Midwest Princess, Chappell Roan, and The Tortured Poets Department, Taylor Swift.
I am obsessed with the fact that we're getting so many female nods, and also it's like relevant to what has been popular this year as opposed to just like random things we've never heard of. But it is going to be very competitive because obviously Billie Eilish, Charlie XCX, Kendrick Lamar, and Post Malone are tied right under Beyonce for how many nominations they got this year. And then right under them, we have Chappell Roan, Sabrina Carpenter, and Taylor Swift. So sorry to everybody else in the music industry, but at this point, it's gonna be all about them.
I think it gets interesting under Song of the Year because we're seeing most of the same people, but Lady Gaga and Bruno Mars make a little appearance there for Die with a Smile, which honestly, I really like that song. That's a good song. I don't know if it's enough to win. I wouldn't guess, but I do really like that song. But again, we have Birds of a Feather, Billie Eilish, Fortnite, Taylor Swift, Post Malone, Good Luck Babe, Chappell Roan, Not Like Us, Kendrick Lamar, Please Please Please, Sabrina Carpenter, Texas Hold'em, Beyonce. And then we also have a bar song Tipsy by Shaboozey.
Yeah, it's going to be competitive this year, and I have a feeling that a lot of fans are going to hate on Taylor Swift as they always do. So it'll be interesting to see how it goes. But also, I'm excited to see Chapel go to the Grammys and possibly win, especially with all the controversy that's been surrounding
Mhm.
her about the fact that she doesn't want a Grammy.
Yeah.
So I'm like, okay, you had to submit it to be nominated. So
Yeah.
obviously you want the Grammy a little bit.
A little bit.
And she's like, no, I don't want a Grammy. I love Chapel. I'm just like interested in the tea that happens.
You're an artist. You are at a very high moment in your I mean, she came up very quickly
Hmm.
with being associated with Olivia Rodrigo and the Guts tour. Um, she definitely rose very, very quickly to a high level of fame, for sure.
Hmm.
But like, I'm not sure coming out and saying you don't want a Grammy is the correct thing you want to be saying publicly. The last one I want to talk about quickly is Best New Artist because there's a lot of stuff online about this. So Benson Boone is on there, Chaperone's on there, Shabuzi, Teddy Swims, a few other artists, and Sabrina Carpenter, which is very interesting to me and a lot of the internet because Sabrina Carpenter, if you know her music, she's been releasing music for quite some time now at this point. I'm pretty sure since her Disney days. So I'm very interested to see what the eligibility requirements are for to submit yourself as best new artist because I just don't understand how she quite fits into that category. But
It's not best new artist, like, wow, it's best new artist of the year.
yeah,
So it's saying going back to like Megan Trainor won it and Alessia Cara won it after they had been doing it for like 3 or 4 years and had 2 or 3 albums out. It just depends on how popular you are that year. And you're
Yeah.
only allowed to submit, I think, I want to say 6 times. So this was Sabrina Carpenter's last go
Mhm.
at being Best New Artist before she couldn't apply for it anymore.
Right.
So
Okay.
it is strange because you think Best New Artist and you're like, oh, who have I never heard of until this year? But it is also a popularity game. So
Well, speaking of Miss Sabrina Carpenter, she has just wrapped up her North American leg of the Short and Sweet tour, and we have to talk about the Los Angeles shows. She performed 3 nights in Los Angeles, and on the second night, so I'll preface by saying if you haven't seen the clips on TikTok, on Instagram, online, anywhere, throughout the show, she does so many cute little funny moments in the show, and one of the things she does is usually she picks someone out of the audience and arrests them as a joke thing, and they get thrown up on the screen and whatnot. On night two in Los Angeles, she brought out Marcelo Hernandez as Domingo from SNL. So if you haven't seen the two SNL skits now that have made, so they did a skit as a parody to Espresso and then also Hot to Go. And Marcelo's character named Domingo, basically he's a guy and this girl is cheating on her husband with Domingo. So it's this whole thing that's blown up on the internet. It's very funny. I mean, everyone loves it. And so he came out as Domingo, flirting with Sabrina, and I thought that was just it was really funny. The poor guy though is so tired of this character, and he's only been like Ariana was only on SNL like maybe a month ago. I don't even think it was that long ago. And this poor man now, Domingo, is just gonna be his whole universe for a little bit now until the internet dies down about it.
I mean, on the bright side, that basically secures him a job for a while because SNL, you have to go through auditions every year. And if
Yeah.
they have this hit character, they're not going to get rid of you.
No.
So secure that bag, sir. But yeah, I love Domingo. I thought this was so funny. I saw, like, I got a Twitter notification. It was like Sabrina Carpenter arrests Domingo. And I was like, okay, it's definitely one of those edits where they like crop someone into the photo. And then I clicked it and it was in fact Domingo. And I was like, this is the most this is the most iconic thing that could have happened. I was laughing. I was like, did not expect this. But you know what? With Sabrina's humor and the fact that it did start with espresso, it just makes sense.
I love how both of them were able to not break character because
Oh, they did break characters.
they did
Sabrina
a
was
little bit,
laughing and he was like, ugh.
but they did pretty good. They were flirting. They had some good lines going on there. So they both did pretty good of staying in character. But then, as if it couldn't get any better, night three in Los Angeles, Jack Antonoff came onto the screen and she's like, "Oh, that brunette over there." And they put Jack Antonoff on the screen. She's like, "I'm sure you produce very well and whatever." And then Margaret Qualley, who is both an incredible actress, also married to Jack Antonoff. They brought her into the screen and they flirted for a second. She arrested Margot Qualley. So iconic, iconic of her. I love that.
Yeah, I love the arrest, but at the same time, I'm like, it does remind me of the 22 hat, but I feel like the arrests are more for celebrities, which kind of sucks for the fans that want them. So I'm wondering, like, does she give it to the celebrities and then the celebrities give it to someone else?
Maybe because it didn't start that way though. Like she
No,
really,
it started with fans, and then it just
yeah,
progressively, she
yeah.
realized more celebrities are coming to her show, so she was like, oh, I'll put you on screen. But I have a feel, I mean, I'm hoping that the celebrities that get it, apart from Millie Bobby Brown, give it to people in the audience because Millie Bobby Brown was really excited to get those. So I'm not gonna be like, give them away to someone else.
Well, either way, I do agree with you that it's kind of like the 22 hat, but also very like it's very like the 22 hat I definitely feel is more geared toward Taylor's younger fans for sure, helping make that memorable experience for them. Sabrina Carpenter shows are not for young children.
But
So
young children still go.
they
So
do, and you know what? Nothing currently in the news annoys me more in the last few days than seeing the headlines of people complaining from the LA shows
Mhm.
that Sabrina Carpenter is very explicit like in her shows and just the different stuff from like the Juno position, the outro to
Bedcam.
Bencam. So there's tons of stuff that goes on in that show that are not for children. And I feel like if you listen to Sabrina's music, you also would just know that this is not geared towards children.
Yeah, it's just, if you don't like it, don't go.
Like, why
So,
are you complaining about it? No one's asking you to go.
moving on back to movie news, Conan O'Brien is officially hosting the 97th Academy Awards, which will take place on March 2nd, 2025. I don't know about you, but I was really, really rooting for Ryan Reynolds and Hugh Jackman to be hosting this because they were in the running up for it and they both really wanted to do it. And I feel like with the banter they had with Deadpool and Wolverine, it would have been so perfect. But Conan O'Brien works too.
He's replacing Jimmy Kimmel, who's done it the last 2 years. He's done it. He's hosted 4 years, but the last 2 years he's the host. So we shall see how it goes. I have one friend who is obsessed with Conan O'Brien, and it's so funny. She loves that man. When we saw him at South by Southwest, she was like, "That is unfair. How did you see Conan O'Brien?" And I was like, "I was not aware of the lore this man had over you." But anyways.
I literally, until you just said that, I completely forgot that we saw Conan O'Brien at South by Southwest. Like, that is a repressed memory, I guess. I was like, when did we see him? And I was like, we literally watched some of his show with him.
I'm very excited. I think he'll do an excellent job at it. He has such a great sense of humor. So I'm excited to see what he comes up with for his monologue, his opening monologue, and just some of the in-between segments.
As long as you don't hate on women, we're good.
Well, going into some TV news, some news that'll probably make some fans happy, but personally, I think I would almost be even more frustrated if I was a diehard fan of the show. So, Euphoria, the show that everyone has been waiting to come back for quite a few years now. Characters are most definitely out of the high school age, and I believe they've already said they're taking the show out of high school for season three. So, they've confirmed season three will begin production in January 2025. However, they are gearing up to make an 8 episode season. So all of you who love Euphoria, you have waited for so long and you are getting 8 episodes.
At this point, I'm just like, why even bother? Like, just quit while you're ahead because not only have majority of the cast members gone on to continue their career and blow up, you've also lost a cast member
Yep.
due to horrible circumstances. It just seems like it's been such a long time since the last season that now you have to do a time jump for it to seem realistic. At what point do you just like count your losses and go, it was good, but like we missed out on doing more seasons?
Like I just think at this point it's more frustrating than anything to see that they're finally getting back into production. I mean, the cast seems excited to come back, which is good. They're not like dragging their feet having to come back and do this season. But on the other hand, I just think that's so frustrating if you're a fan of the show. You've waited for so long. And I hate how TV is now personally. Like I wish on streaming and things they still did longer seasons. Like if you're watching cable still,
Like 20 episode season.
like Law and Order, you get like 20-ish episodes per season. And like that's, in my opinion, the best way to watch TV. This like 8 episode one season all at once on streaming is somewhat annoying because then you end up waiting like 2, 3, 4, 5, 6 years to get another season with just a handful of episodes that you're gonna binge in a day or two.
Also, like I know what goes into filming and I know the process takes a long time.
Yeah, absolutely.
Explain to me how we've gone from creating and filming 20 episode like seasons to barely making it to 8 episode seasons. They don't need to be 40 minutes long. 30 is okay.
Well, I think the thing is though too, like so even like if you look at Law and Order SVU, they're still filming now the season that's out. So like they kind of film it a few months in advance, obviously, but they film it as the TV show's on for its season. So I think when you think back to earlier shows, like in the earlier 2000s, 2010s, a lot of people that were on cable television shows before streaming became such a thing a lot of actors were like cemented in TV, and then you had your actors cemented in film. Whereas now I feel like it's more interchangeable with streaming that you see more often, like Euphoria. You have Jacob Elordi, Sydney Sweeney, Zendaya, who have all been in tons of movies the past few years, now are going to commit to film this TV show. So I think that could also play a part in it too, for sure, that you have less of like an audience specifically for like TV actors and film actors, that now you see it more interchangeably. And then obviously with streaming, they're just pushing out so much content on streaming, obviously, that they don't have the time, probably nor the resources to continually give 20 episode seasons to all these shows that they're putting out.
I mean, it is what it is. Whether you're excited or not, I'm sure you'll hear lots about Euphoria this new season on social media, so do not worry.
It'll be filling your phone up for sure. Something I'm excited and I'm very interesting to see what they do with this is Universal Television is rebooting a Friday Night Lights series. There is a Friday Night Lights movie. There's also a Friday Nights TV show with Kyle Chandler, Connie Britton, bunch of people. So I'm very, very excited to see what they do rebooting this. Apparently, the rumor is at the moment that they're bringing new characters in. It's still going to be set around like this high school football scene, but it's going to be new characters and new individuals in the show. So it'll be interesting to see what they do with the story, if they do happen to connect it back at all to the original show, and what this looks like for fans.
I don't know. I I don't know. We go back to this all the time, and I feel like a broken record, but I'm like, can we not think of anything else? I don't know. I'm still open to it though. I do appreciate that they're saying they're bringing in a new story and new characters, so like that gives it hope. But at that point, why not just make a new series?
In other television news, it's confirmed that Lady Gaga is making a cameo appearance in Wednesday season 2, and I kind of feel like the show totally fits her vibe, so I love it.
It does, but it also feels so necessary to have her in a cameo after, I don't want to say her song blew up, but like Wednesday blew up and her song blew up when that whole TikTok dance trend was going on. So I feel like it's just so right. And I hope they kind of like do a little nudge to that in a
Yeah.
way without like ruining the show and being like, oh my God. Yeah, I think it's very cool. And I think it definitely is her vibe, especially after just doing the new Joker film. Definitely fits what she's been doing. And I just love her as an actress and as a singer. So I am open to whatever she wants to do.
Well, staying on the track of TV, our last TV news for the day is about Cruel Intentions, the new series that's coming to Prime Video today. All 8 episodes are now on Prime Video for you to watch. Gracie and I had the chance to watch the first 3 episodes thanks to the Taro Group and Prime Video Canada, so thank you for that. And we are here to give you a full review of our thoughts so far. And let me just start by saying I am absolutely hooked, and I cannot wait to binge the rest of these episodes today. What was your first thought? Because I know you haven't seen Cruel Intentions movie. I've seen the original movie. So going into this kind of blindly, what were your thoughts? Because this is definitely a very racy drama, and if you don't know the movie, this might be like, what is happening?
You know, it definitely is racy, but I will say I have seen other movies that follow the same plot line. Like, I don't know if you've watched My Fault, which is also on Amazon Prime. Great movie. But yeah, Cruel Intentions, I knew it was racy going into it, but I also made the mistake of watching this with my mom because we were sitting in the same room and she was like, "Oh, just put it on in the background because you have to watch it." And I was like, "Okay." Do not watch it with your parents. Do not watch it with little siblings. I don't know about you guys, but I was sweating. I was like, I can't do this. But without my mom being there, I was hooked on this. I love a good drama. I love a good romance, enemies to lovers type trope. The acting in this was phenomenal, especially because all of these are their biggest roles to date, if not their first roles. So I love when people like Amazon or any big creation gives these smaller actors a chance to shine and have their quote unquote breakout roles. You could really feel the chemistry between them, between all three of them, and it made you either love or hate these characters, which I think is a tell of a good performance. So I'm excited to see the rest of these, mostly because I'm hooked on drama and I love plot twists. But it does get a little annoying for me at sometimes because I'm like, ew, have standards, girl. Have standards. What do you think, Nicole?
I absolutely loved this. I'm a huge fan of the movie, so going into this, I was very excited and slightly nervous to see what they would do with the story and this kind of new chapter. But I totally agree with you. The acting is incredible. My friend was an extra on set for this because it is all filmed in Toronto, which we clued into right away because one of the very opening shots with Lucian is right outside of Toronto's Union Station, which I am in every single day, basically.
I was
And then he
gonna
walks into the Royal York Hotel, which is right across the street. Then majority of this is filmed at U of T. So my friend had great stories she was telling me from set and just had a fantastic time interacting with all the actors in this. And like Gracie said, this is a lot of their first roles, or first few roles, definitely first big roles. So it's very exciting to see them do so well in this as well for the story. Obviously, it's not like a perfect storyline. I would say there's a few like holes, but again, we've only seen the first three episodes. I thought the performances are great. It hooks you right away. It is a perfect drama. For those of you who don't know at all what this is about, basically the show follows Lucian and Caroline, who are step siblings. They're both prominent members of their fraternity and their sorority on their same college campus. Caroline is the president of her sorority, and when the vice president of the United States, his daughter, starts at the school, of course, she wants her to rush their sorority, and but her mom is a legacy at another sorority, so now she's trying to kind of like poach her a little bit into their sorority. Through all of this, her stepbrother Lucian, who we kind of figures has a little thing for her mother, also has a little thing for Caroline, is that she bet him if he can help her bring the daughter of the vice president into the sorority, she will sleep with him. And that is kind of the whole premise of this. There's a lot of tension between their two characters, goes back and forth a lot, behind closed doors from other characters. There's some other fantastic characters in this show as well. So it's just such a good drama. Exactly what you want it to be. Cruel Intentions, the film is very similar if you haven't seen that. Revolves around this relationship between step siblings as well and making bets on sleeping with Reese Witherspoon's character in the film. So it's very similar in that sense, but they did definitely put a fresh modern twist on it. And I think from what I've seen so far, they've done a really good job at staying true to that story while also kind of creating this new world of it. So far, I am loving it. And like I said, I cannot wait to watch the rest of it tonight.
thank you again to Amazon and Taro Group. We both really enjoyed it and we are both eager to see how it ends. So make sure to check out Cruel Intentions.
Absolutely. Now back on to the movie track. Today we have some interesting first looks at some movies. We had Back in Action, starring Cameron Diaz and Jamie Foxx, that came out a little earlier this week, the first kind of teaser trailer for it. It's coming to Netflix on January 17th, 2025. I'm very excited to see Cameron Diaz back in the movie scene. I love her. She has so many classic, like early 2000s rom-coms especially. So this one is a bit more of like a spy romance thriller type movie I'm getting from the trailer. So I'm excited to see what she brings to the table with Jamie Foxx in this one.
Yeah, I mean, I'm excited to see this one because this was the film that Jamie Foxx had his huge health scare on. I don't know if you guys remember that. I'm talking like I can hear the audience. But I was so worried when Jamie Foxx had his health scare because I love Jamie Foxx. And when I say that, I specifically mean when he played the bird in Rio. No, I love Jamie Foxx and he's so talented. So I was so excited to hear about this movie, but then when the health issues happened and everybody had no clue what was going on and filming stopped and we weren't sure if we were ever going to get this movie because it was traumatic for everybody involved. I'm just really happy to be seeing it coming out, but to also see Jamie and Cameron enjoying the upcoming release as opposed to like mourning it.
Another announcement we had that I have heard is also playing in movie theaters at the moment, kind of a first look, is the live action How to Train Your Dragon adaptation remake, which is coming to theaters June 13th of 2025. I have to say, the casting is quite on point. and Tooth looks good. I'm impressed by it, to be honest.
I go back to this for every live action adaptation where they have like a weird character or like animal. Nothing will ever be as bad as the original Sonic they had.
That was so
So I feel like anything at this point is great. But yes, Toothless looks phenomenal. I honestly thought that they just pulled him directly from the cartoon and cropped him in there with a live person.
yeah.
But it is a real, well, real-ish thing. They're showing the trailer in theaters, but they actually just released the full trailer on Instagram and they released the first poster. Both of these look so good. I'm so excited. I love this film and this franchise. And the casting, as you said, is like point on. Like they look so similar. I'm so happy that they're doing this with so much care.
Mason Thames looks so much like Hiccup. It's actually kind of impressive, to be honest.
Literally, I'm watching this trailer and I'm scared because I'm like, why does everybody look like a cartoon character came to
What
life?
what have you
Like,
done?
I don't know. The budget was high for this one, ladies.
But
I
he
don't
did
know.
such, did you see Black Phone, the
He
2021?
was so good in that one
He was
too.
very good in that movie. And then well, he was in Incoming, that movie on Netflix this year, which was not his fault. The movie itself just wasn't awesome.
It's
Um,
not- I don't know. I'm curious to see number one, how this performs, and number two, if they continue to do the rest of the franchise, because there are quite a few films now.
yeah, they're gonna have to put those out fast because he's gonna start to grow up and they need to film those.
Yeah, I mean, if they can make a Toothless look realistic, I'm sure they could like AI or CGI him to look the same age.
You know, that's a very good point. It's very valid. But so yeah, so we have that to look forward to, which is very interesting and exciting to see more information as we get closer to the release date. Speaking of interesting projects that I'm excited to see more of as they get closer, Steven Spielberg's next sci-fi film, which is slated to be released on May 15th, 2026 in theaters, has announced some of its starring cast. Josh O'Connor is in the leading role alongside Emily Blunt, Coleman Domingo, Colin Firth, and Eve Hewson. So we don't have any information really other than it's a UFO sci-fi film from Mr. Spielberg himself. So I'm very excited to see what this entails. A lot of people are saying this will kind of be along the lines of like a Ready Player One type idea.
I
Obviously,
love Ready Player One. Actually, as soon as you said that, I was like, I might have to add that to my letterbox top four. That was the first thought that went into my head.
are you gonna take out After?
Never.
Listen, girl, I love the After movies. These are like a guilty pleasure watch, but it's not
Exactly.
going on my top four. So basically, Gracie's either kicking out Interstellar or Catching Fire. I'm
I will never. Like, you know what? I might need to take out After now that I'm thinking about it because I'm like, I cannot take
Oh,
out
Mary Poppins is
Interstellar.
the other one, isn't it?
I'm not taking out Mary Poppins. Yeah, my top four are Interstellar, Catching Fire, Mary Poppins, and After. And now that I'm saying those out loud, I might have to take out After because I can't fathom taking out the other three. But just know in my heart, I love Anna Todd, who is the author, and she holds a near and dear place to my heart.
I think about your top four on Letterboxd more often than I probably should, and every time I do, I laugh. I
Do
was thinking,
you really?
I was
Wow.
thinking class the other day, and I don't know what I was on my laptop, and something about After came up because I was looking at old clips and stuff I had, and I was like, yeah, top four for Gracie. The last piece of news we have to share today is Sky Jackson, who formerly was on Jessie, you know her, Zuri. She is expecting her first child with her boyfriend. And there's quite a little bit of controversy around this at the moment, but congratulations to her nonetheless. That is very, very exciting news for her. And nothing but the best, I hope.
Yeah, we're just gonna stay out of that drama. Congratulations to her. I wish her all the best, and she's gonna be a great mom.
Yes. Well, that's all the news we have for today. So, as per usual, let's jump right into our weekly watches. I watched Hot Frosty, which we've talked about here quite a bit on the podcast already. So, I will keep this very brief, but I enjoyed it. It's very like Hallmark-esque as we assumed that it would be. I th like I it was everything I wanted it to be, which was just a cheesy little Christmas Netflix Hallmark Lacey Chabert holiday festive film. And I mean, who doesn't love Dustin Milligan either? So it was perfect for what I thought it was going to be. I loved it. It's definitely a very sweet holiday watch, so you can see that now on Netflix.
My watch of the week, this is gonna sound really bad because I've been watching it on TikTok because, TikTok makes it easier to watch things because they like cut it down so your attention span doesn't have to be as long. And like you can watch it while doing other things. Anyway, besides that, I'm in love with a mama's boy. You know what? It's so fun to watch though, because you watch these scenarios and you're like, come on, there's no way this is real. But it is real because then I look at their TikToks and they're still making TikToks with their mom. So if you want that, it's on TLC. I highly recommend it if you're looking to giggle or if you're just looking to watch mindless TV.
If you just don't want your brain to think at all, just put that on and you're good.
Nicole, what was your song of the week?
You know what? My song of the week, I'll take a break from Christmas this week and gonna go back to country. I discovered a Kim Brown song that I had never listened to before, and it's not new or anything. I just am missing the boat on this one. But it is called What's Mine Is Yours. Um, and I just think it's a very sweet song. Came up on this one of those like day list things on your daily playlist thing on Spotify. And I thought it was a very good song. So it has been added to the official country playlist now. So it'll be on repeat for the foreseeable future. But what about you, Grace?
Mine, I'm gonna steal your thunder. I'm gonna do a Christmas song.
Wow.
Yeah. Um,
Wow. How the tides have changed.
how the tables have turned. Tyler Shaw, I was able to see him in concert the other day for his Christmas show, and I really loved his rendition of Silent Night. So I've been listening to it a lot because it's like a poppier version of what is normally a very slow song. So highly recommend that. He has great vocals, and apparently people are calling him the Prince of Christmas because Michael Bublé is the king. So that's all we have for our weekly watches and songs. Let's get into upcoming releases. Nicole, what do we have first?
Well, of course, as we've already talked about, Cruel Intentions is out today on Prime Video. Watch all 8 episodes of the first season now.
Yes. And then on Max, we have the Sex Life of College Girls season 3 is also coming out today. I know a lot of people are really excited for this, so it's coming.
Then, as we move over to the movie theaters tomorrow, it is finally time. The Barbenheimer of 2024 is here. We have Glicked
Wicked.
Weekend. We are here with Glicked Weekend. Gladiator 2 and Wicked are both in theaters this weekend. You can catch both. You can do a double feature if your heart desires. You can do one, you can do the other. We've already been talking about outfits. I personally think if you go with green, green feels safe. You could do like a green for Wicked, and I feel like you could definitely find something green that's like gladiator-esque if you're looking for it. Maybe do an outfit change, a sweater, and then like a tank top or something underneath it. You can figure it out. So Glicked is in theaters this weekend, November 22nd. Go catch both of them. Okay, we're having a little bit of technical difficulties with Gracie's laptop, so I'm just gonna quickly round this out for us. Spellbound is hitting Netflix on November 22nd. We have Joy also on Netflix November 22nd. And we have Out of My Mind, which is based on the best-selling novel coming to Disney Plus on November 22nd as well. So you can catch all of these movies, binge those TV shows today and tomorrow. You're gonna be busy. Your schedule is packed for this weekend. So yes, those are all your upcoming releases for this week. Well, that's all we have for today's episode, so thank you so, so much for tuning in and joining us here again on As Seen on Screen. I'm Nicole.
I'm Gracie, and you can find us wherever you watch or listen to your podcasts on Spotify or YouTube.
We'll see you same time next week. Bye.
Bye.